Miss Amy's Math.
In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to solve an inequality. And basically, it's just like solving an equation, except when multiplying or dividing by a negative, we have to flip the sign. We all know that 3 is less than 5. But what happens when we multiply both sides by a negative 1? The opposite is true. Negative 3 is greater than negative 5. So we have to flip the sign anytime we multiply or divide by a negative. For example 1, we want to solve the inequality and graph the solution on a number line. We have x plus 3 is less than or equal to 7. So just like we would an equation, we want to isolate the variable. So I'll start by subtracting 3 from both sides of the inequality. And we're left with x is less than or equal to 4. Since 4 is included in the solution, we use a closed circle on 4, and then we graph all the values less than 4 on the number line. For example 2, we want to solve negative 3x plus 2 is less than 17. We'll need to isolate the variable, so I'll subtract 2 from both sides, and we get negative 3x is less than 15. Next, we'll divide both sides by negative 3, and since we're dividing by a negative, we have to remember to flip the sign. So we're left with x is greater than negative 5. Now, let's graph the solution. Since negative 5 is not included in the solution, we use an open circle. And then we graph all the values greater than negative 5 on the number line. For example 3, we have 4 plus 3x is greater than or equal to 5x. Now this time we have a variable on both sides of the inequality. And we want the variable on just one side. So I'm going to remove this 3x by subtracting 3x from both sides. Now we have 4 is greater than or equal to 2x. Next, we want to isolate the variable. So we'll divide both sides by 2, and we're left with 2 is greater than or equal to x. Now some people aren't comfortable graphing the solution with it written like this. So if you want, we can swap sides, just as long as you swap the sign. So we have x is less than or equal to 2. Now let's graph the solution. Since 2 is included in the solution, we have a closed circle on 2, and we'll graph all the numbers less than 2 on the number line. For example 4, we want to solve x minus 5 divided by negative 2 is greater than 4. We need to isolate the variable, so we'll undo division with multiplication. Let's multiply both sides by negative 2. And since we're multiplying by a negative, we have to flip the sign. So we end up with x minus 5 is less than negative 8. Now we'll add 5 to both sides, and we get x is less than negative 3. Now let's graph the solution. Negative 3 is not included, so we use an open circle. Then we'll graph all of the values less than negative 3 on the number line. So that's it for this lesson. If it helped you at all, please give it a like or let me know in the comments.